No. Oh, wait. Wait a couple of seconds. I just washed my hands, and now all my clothes is wet. My whole shirt is wet.
Goodness, why wash your hair in the middle of the night?
It needed washing.
Are you gonna
Peace, Clint. Thank you for joining. Peace, Shanae. Thank you all for joining. We're going to get started in a couple seconds. Yeah, right?
Yep.
This is my mom, guys. So crazy.
Hi, guys.
All right. So we are going to be talking about pregnancy, labor, delivery, birthing at home, birthing at a hospital, how to possibly have a natural hospital birth, lotus birthing, and how to be a supportive partner to your queen who is about to give life. Today I have my mom who is visiting from Qatar.
Yes. Well, okay. Yes. I was going to say I was visiting from Miami, but okay, Qatar.
Okay, she's been in Qatar since last year, and she'll be there till 2020. So she's visiting from Qatar. And for those of you who don't know, Qatar is is that Middle East considered? Africa, Middle East, over there by Saudi Arabia.
There's no such thing as the Middle East. But anyhow,
I'm just saying for the people so they know.
It's a part of, yeah, I'm going to say, it's a part of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And so it's like just this tiny little country on the side of Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia was a part of Africa until they did the Suez Canal.
Okay.
And built a dam, so it broke apart.
True. Well, would you like to tell them what you do in Qatar?
So Qatar is very medicalized as it comes to childbirth. Even though they have midwives technically that work there and deliver most of the babies, they do about 16,000 deliveries a year. They wanted to have a more midwifery model, so I'm there supposedly trying to get them to think that way.
Think what way?
Midwifery.
Oh.
Natural, how midwives are supposed to birth.
Gotcha. So for everybody that's just tuning in, peace, y'all. Peace and love. We were just talking about my mom coming here, visiting the family from Qatar, and she's a part of a pilot program, right? Kind of.
No, it's not really a pilot. They want it to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
So starting a program at a hospital in Qatar, teaching, are they nurses?
And midwives.
Nurses and midwives about midwifery at their hospital. So she's a certified nurse midwife, and that means that she does midwifery.
I think it's more of me promoting midwifery and starting midwifery services so that it's and of course upskilling the midwives that we have there.
Understood.
To do what they do basically like in most of the European countries.
Okay. And so since you're a certified nurse midwife, that means you do your deliveries at the hospital and you're not at home.
I can do it anywhere I want.
Oh, special.
I would have to set up a practice of a home birth practice, or I set up a birthing center, or do the hospital.
Right. But the midwives who are licensed professionals can't
right.
work at the hospitals.
Correct.
So that's the difference between certified nurse midwives and licensed professional midwives.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk about pregnancy. So if you're tuning in and you are pregnant, congratulations.
Congrats.
So happy for you and your family. Thank you for being a vehicle to bring new life into this world. You are amazing and divine, goddess. Just briefly, I just want to say about your pregnancy should be about catering to yourself. Okay, and having those around you cater to you. This is not to make you feel like you're useless and you can't do anything for yourself, but this society is so stress driven that it's so important for you as a pregnant woman to just remember that self-care is at the forefront. Because all this, any stress, any suffering, any pain, any drama, arguments, anything like that that come across your path is going to affect your pregnancy and ultimately affect the environment in which your baby is being in. So that could mean whatever you're thinking, whatever your emotions are, the actions that you're involved in, all of those things your baby is experiencing with you. So it's utmost important for you to be in an environment that's of peace, that's of joy, that's empowering and uplifting and encouraging you to be feeling in your highest of spirits. We have such a high responsibility as women, especially women that birth children into this world, because basically the state of the world, the womb, this big womb, the bigger womb, the biggest womb, is due to our state of mind, is due to our state of our emotions, our state of being, and everything that we put out into the world while we are carrying our child gets birthed into the world. So it's such a huge responsibility that when we're pregnant that we take care of ourselves. How can we take care of ourselves? We would try to do as much stress-free things as we possibly can. What makes you happy? What makes you feel joy? Do you like to go for walks? You like to listen to music? You like to dance? Do some yoga, meditation? Do you want to be drinking your red raspberry leaf teas, your dandelion tea, your nettle? You want to make sure that you're getting some leafy greens in your diet. You want to make sure you have lots of fresh, watery fruits in your diet as well. You also want to be sure that you are taking nice deep breaths, taking in that prana energy, and spending some time in nature, going outside and walking on the grass with your feet, having some time to sun gaze as well as do some solar meditation. And as the moons are going in its cycles, also be in tune with the moon cycles. Check definitely your emotions. Watch the moons. Yes.
And the stars.
Everything.
But go ahead. No, I was about to say, but who has time, right?
You make time. That's what this is about. You make time as much as you can, because I done been there. I done been there working pregnant and being a student pregnant and being at home pregnant, and I've gotten to see a full spectrum of what it's like. And definitely when I was home, I had the easiest pregnancy. And when I was working full time, it was the most stressful pregnancy. And thanks to family and friends, that they really helped into making sure that it wasn't as stressful as it was, because I had so many things to take care of.
And that's good, because you have support.
Exactly.
So that's important.
Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Whomever that might be. And
don't stress out about the small stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're type A especially, you have to let things go. Everything can't be in order. The whole, your whole existence. It should be some letting go.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I was going to say, what was I going to say? I know. That's what you thought.
But in Qatar, one of the services we started was a childbirth education class. And I would tell the women who come to class, you're supposed to have a happy, joyful pregnancy. And listen, if your husband comes home and he's upset about something, or he didn't do the dishes, or he didn't do whatever, don't argue, just go dance.
Yeah.
And then they started laughing. But I go, yeah, just turn some music on and start dancing. Forget about, stressing about the small stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the time.
It's not the time. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Another thing that I wanted to add for your pregnancy journey is to do some journaling. Journal how you're feeling, pay attention to your dreams, because a lot of times when you're pregnant, your dreams are the most vivid. So you want to make sure you are paying attention to your spiritual messages that are being sent to you throughout your dreams. A lot of times you're going to get visions of your children and how you need to be guiding them through this lifetime, and making sure that you're tapping into what their purpose is, so that your own ego is not going to overthrow what they came here to do because of what you think they should be or be doing, and different things like that. So journal, do little things every week if you can. For your 40 weeks, have 40 different things that you're going to do each week, or different things that you're going to focus on. How are you going to focus on, for example, one week you could be focusing on your thoughts. The next week you'd be focusing on music. The next week, dancing, like she said. And the other week, how to beautify yourself. Just find something to keep you in tune with the pregnancy, because when you're not in tune with the pregnancy and you're letting life run you, you kind of forget about it. The weeks just go by until you hit the third trimester and you're like, oh my God, is it over yet? You want to.
I'm like, you signed up for 40 weeks. 40 weeks, please. It's only 32. Get a grip.
Yeah. So, just find ways to make it more enjoyable for yourself, and include your family. Find things that they can,
and your partner,
exactly, your family.
Or your other family too.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a patient. Let me say a quick story. I had a patient that came in the emergency room, and I was working at Jackson in Miami. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Sorry. I was working at this big hospital in Miami, and anyhow, there was nothing wrong with her. She was complaining of some abdominal pain and blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, well, I did every test and everything was negative, and you're not in labor. You know what I think you need? I think you need some TLC. So next minute I know she's getting ready to go home, and she's on the phone, and I walked into the room, and she's talking to her boyfriend or her husband, whoever, and she said, my midwife said I need some TLC. It was the cutest thing.
Yes, when you're pregnant, you do need some tender love and care.
And I think she went home, and hopefully she got some.
Yeah, it's important.
But yeah.
All that 10, 11 care you're going to give to your baby when it comes into this world should be the same 10, 11 care your family and your friends should be showering you with while you're pregnant. If anybody's trying to bring you drama, you just...
Yeah.
All right.
Take some questions.
Yeah, in a second. But hey, how's everybody out there? Hey, Margarita, HMC. Glad you all could join us, Malik. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments now so we can address them. But next we're going to talk about labor.
Labor, okay.
So do you have any suggestions that you want to give to the women about how the best ways to labor at a hospital?
Oh, okay, laboring at a hospital. So you want to do a natural birth at a hospital. The one most important thing you need is a good midwife or a physician who's dedicated, because we had one physician who's very dedicated to natural birth, actually to normal birth. Not necessarily natural, but normal. And so he would do whatever he could to get you a normal birth. But yeah, so if you have a good midwife to agree with what you want, with your experience, then you'll be fine. And then hopefully you get a nurse also who feels the same way, because they're in the hospital. We have policies and procedures and things we have to do, and blah, 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 everything you have to follow, and lawyers and cases, and everybody's trying to protect themselves. So they do what they're told.
Hmm.
So they do what the policy says.
So if a person is having a healthy pregnancy and they start laboring, when do you think is an appropriate time for them to go to the hospital? Because I know you've mentioned plenty of times women will come to the hospital too early, and that's how they end up getting induced sometimes.
I'm so good at this. They walk in and I go, "You're in labor?" They said yes. I go, "Is this your first baby?" And they go, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I go, "You're still smiling. You're going home." So I tell them, so when they go home, they might still be having contractions. So I tell them, you see, when there's your smile, it turns into a frown and you stop playing around and joking around and you get serious, that's the time you can come back.
Would you have any minutes, or as far as...
Well, I like to, if this is the first baby, I tell them contractions every 5 minutes at least for 2 hours.
Okay.
But I think it can be longer than that, of course.
Meaning,
regular contractions for 2 hours.
And this is for a typical normal laboring, because if you're somebody like me who has precipitous labors, which means that your labor and delivery is under 3 hours. I haven't had a labor and delivery with my 3 children that are here. That was longer than 2 hours, meaning from the onset of labor till they were out in my arms was less than 2 hours. So
onset of your you feeling contractions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. When you have precipitous labor, you basically go from 0 to 100 really, really quick. So if it's just moving typically, you would say that a woman who is going to have a birth at the hospital should come if they've been having contractions for 5.
So I say
no,
because it's different with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen women come in and contracting every 2 to 3 minutes, and they're not in labor, and have to send them home.
So what would you suggest that they do? What's some things that they would do to help speed along labor as a midwife? I have my things as a doula that I would say.
What do you have as a doula?
Walking, dancing, squatting.
Yeah, they can do all of that stuff at home. Have the birthing ball.
Birthing ball. Yeah. Exactly.
We don't recommend the hydrotherapy early in labor, but in active labor, yes. But at that point, but you can, since you're not going to have it or may not have it at the hospital, some hospitals do have those available.
The water tubs?
Yeah, they have tubs. You can take a bath. You may not be able to do a water birth, but best thing ever. If anybody is wanting to know, I really like it.
Also, you can do some stretches, and something that I always recommend to my clients, if I'm ever your doula, is from the moment that you're pregnant, you're envisioning yourself having a labor that's progressing effectively, and your delivery is the same. Now, it's not going to always end up that way, but the more you envision it, the more confident you feel, the less anxiety you have, the less fears and doubts you have, so that when the time is ready, you're ready.
Exactly.
You're not holding back, you're not screaming, because you've already prepared your mind for what's about to go down. And something that I always say to my clients is that the sensations, not even pain, your sensations that you feel during your labor is no greater than you. It is you. This is your body. So your body cannot put anything more on you than you can handle, because it is you. And if it's strong, girl, you're strong. You know what I'm saying? So, and at the onset of labor, you also want to be in tune with some type of affirmation or some type of mantra that keeps you, in sync and in balance, that don't distract you and keep you going down a spiral, and also whoever is a part of your birth team, include them in what is it that's going to help you to stay balanced. So I always do mantras and affirmations. So love, he knows them. he knows in my heart what they mean and when I want to say them, so that if at any point I stop saying them, he knows to tell me to get back into it. So yeah, I would say those are some things that you can do during your labor.
I think those are good.
Mm-hmm.
You got them all, most of them.
And okay, so for delivery, so that if you're delivering at home.
So I think it's so important that people are, like you said, they're prepared, whether you take a class or not. A class may help, or maybe have a circle of friends that you practice this with. Or, you talk about childbirth together so that you're not so scared. I think the television has really given childbirth a bad rep.
Oh, yes, it has.
It's because as soon as a woman's water breaks, she goes into labor, she has the baby, she screams her head off. And then she births this baby after screaming like crazy. I didn't scream, so.
Me neither.
I don't know.
But if she screams, that's okay.
It is.
It's whatever sound you make is okay. You just don't want to be out of control.
Exactly. It's true.
Right.
That's fine. You can scream. We have certain groups of people who just scream. I mean, I'm so good at calming any woman down in labor and having them breathe and relax. And from being in the country I'm working in now, and then I started realizing that this certain group of people, it doesn't matter what you do. I've given up. I'm like, I can't calm them down. And then my friend, she's so super natural childbirth midwife. She used to have her own home birth practice in Spain. And she says, she goes, I can't calm them down either. Because all they do is scream. And I mean to the top of their lungs.
Okay. And that's okay. It's okay. You just want to make sure you're in control.
But you know what? The thing is that it just strips your energy. So the screaming and the baby's not getting ear, and you need to be in control. Because that's not in control. Right? You would find a better way, a better outlet, even if you made noises
that are loud.
Yes. But it's not a screaming.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it didn't.
So we have, can you share anything about dealing with cholestasis? You know what that is? My sister has it.
So it's
Margarita said that.
Okay. Hi, Margarita. So yeah, it's a very sort of serious condition of pregnancy. I'm sure they're going to be monitoring her, doing her bile. So it's an increase in their bile acids, and it has to do with the liver, and it's only in pregnancy, but it really resolves after pregnancy. So she may have some, body itching. They'll probably give her some medications for that. And
is there anything natural that she can take, just in case if she wanted to know?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But they give them Ursodiol is a medication for the itching. But usually once you deliver, it resolves. But it can be harmful to the baby if the bile acids are too high. So they monitor them weekly or something.
And is there anything that she can do to help herself?
Always, positive mind and good diet.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything that's good for on your liver. I don't think that will help. I don't know if any studies or anything that have been done with it, but of course you want to just stay healthy, eat healthy, and stay positive.
Healthy mind, healthy body. Okay, so Megan Welsh said, what do you do with the placenta when the umbilical cord falls off? I have buried all three into the earth. I know people who encapsulate it and eat it. I'm not about that life, but other people are. I know people who put it in smoothies. And then there's people who So I just throw it away. What do they do at the hospital?
So at the hospital, different hospitals do different things. Most of them used to throw them out, at least they used to. And then I found out that I don't know, they saved, I don't know what they do with them now, but they also do some, what did I tell you?
What?
Oh, cord banking.
Oh, yeah. For stem cell
For
research.
stem cell research, they do.
Exactly, I heard that.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure the ones certain hospitals, they probably throw out, they do the, use it for the, what you call it? Oh, cosmetics and hair products that us Black women like to use so much. That's poisonous.
Because it's full of vital nutrients, which is why I'm an advocate for delayed cord cutting or lotus birthing, which is leaving the placenta on and let it fall off naturally, as opposed to as soon as when the baby comes out, cutting the cord.
So that's a practice that they do now a lot. So they'll delay the cord for at least a minute. If you want it longer, you can ask. If you want your placenta, of course, you can ask for it.
To take it home with you.
Take it home with you. It's tell them it's your religious, rights or something, and they'll release it to you.
Right. So you have full consent to keep your placenta, and nobody has the right to take it away from you, or to cut your cord before you want it to be cut. So do know that you have that right if you decide to have a hospital birth. And with all of my children, it took anywhere between 3 to 1 day to fall off on its own. So to keep it maintained and clean, what I did was wash it with water in a bowl so all the blood was pretty much gone, and then I put a generous amount of dry rosemary. You can also put some lavender on it because it's going to start to decay, and so that's to help it dry out faster so that the decaying doesn't cause a stench. And that usually, like I said, took anywhere between 1 to 3 days to fall off. So my baby would be attached to the placenta, usually wrapped up in something for those 1 to 3 days until it falls off of their belly. And then you just take care of the belly button as you normally would.
I tell my patients the story of Akila's lotus birth. And I go, it's actually a great idea. It keeps people away from your house after you done give birth. Because having so many visitors is so unnecessary. Mm-hmm. I tell my friends, okay, you have 1 day set out, everybody's going to come, and then you don't want to see them again until you call them, maybe next month or something.
Yeah, true.
Because they just give you more work than you need. Mm-hmm. And you have to entertain, and you want to breastfeed, and no.
Okay. Margarita said, I'm so happy I was able to experience a natural birth in the hospital with my son. It was beautiful as it could be in the hospital. That's great. Wonderful. I'm really happy to hear that. I think it's important. I know there's a lot of home birthers. I was kind of staring that way in the beginning of like, just home birth, forget the hospitals, but I know people personally and understand the different reasons of why hospital births are still important to have, so as long
I don't see it that way either. Well, because we have so many unhealthy women that are childbearing age, and we have this need to have a hospital. Right. But if people were healthy, I think we can do without it.
Yeah. But there's also different reasons. So I'm just saying, like, regardless if you birth at the hospital or at home, I just would highly recommend that you do it naturally. As naturally as possible with the least medical interventions or, drugs or anything like that. Let's see. Wow, 2 hours. Yes, under 2 hours of labor. Nutrition. During pregnancy, what to stay away from other than sugary foods, processed foods, and staying with greens, foods from the earth. What are some vitamins/pills that can be harmful? Well, some vitamins/pills can be harmful, no. Definitely, there are a lot of Do you want to talk about that? Vitamins and pills that they should or should not take?
Well, you shouldn't take anything. Try not to. Um, a good, what you call it, prenatal vitamins, but they also recommend omega-3s. So if you can get omega-3s, that's a good supplement to take also. Um,
And you can get omega-3s in like flax
yeah,
and
and
hemp seeds.
and also sesame seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Sesame seeds are super nutritious. So try not to take anything. If you have headaches, drink more water. Of course, backaches, you can always do your back exercises.
Chiropractor.
On the chiropractor, the pelvic tilts.
You can also go to the massage therapist.
Yeah, definitely, massage therapist.
You don't want to take any pharmaceutical drugs.
I mean, you don't even want to take herbs, too.
Herbs? Well, what about the raspberry? You mean like the...
You know,
there are a list of certain herbs that pregnant women cannot take that can have like some adverse effects. But if you have any questions on that, I can send you a list. You can hit me up in a DM and I can send you a list of some of those that you shouldn't take while you're pregnant. But herbs are good for you.
Of course.
Yeah, you just want to be mindful of which ones. Mm-hmm.
The most important is, I was going to say.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh.
These are the ones that I usually take. No, I'm not pregnant. I just still have some left over.
Oh, I was going to say the most important part to do this is, before you get pregnant, and then when you find out you're pregnant, I guess you're thinking I'm pregnant now. So that early pregnancy journey, that is so important that you don't take anything. Because that's when a lot of the cell division and everything is being formed. So that's why they talk about those first 3 months is very crucial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The best thing that you can do is prior to getting pregnant is to lead up into going into it with a healthy diet, with a healthy mind, so that you won't be in a position where you're needing certain things when you get pregnant.
Exactly.
And that you're not deficient in anything. I know that when I get pregnant, I'm always my iron goes down,
but that's normal.
Which is normal. But it usually gets really low. It's gotten down to about 9, 8. It's been low enough that I'm like super tired, falling asleep in the parking lot. Wake up like, oh, what just happened? Supposed to be working right now, guys. But what helped me was taking Floridix. I don't recommend taking any of the ones that you can find at Walgreens. Those type of iron supplements that are like hard pills that cause constipation and change your urine color and make you feel even more uncomfortable. So Floridix, it's a liquid that I took, and it's all just natural fruit and veggies concentrated, and it really helped increase my iron levels within a matter of weeks. It really did, and it made a significant change. If you want me to send you a picture or the name of it, I can just DM me. It's called Floridix. All right. Peace and love to everyone. Thank you all for being here. Bearing in mind, I see that Megan says she's been thinking about burying hers, meaning the placenta. I like to feel like when I look at the placenta, I see a tree. And it just reminds me of Earth and all the abundance and love that the Earth gives to us. So I give the placenta back to the Earth as an offering. And we usually say affirmations over it. We thank it for providing the nutrients and vital energy that our baby needed inside the womb. We thank it for, not causing any problems within us during the pregnancy, and basically being an energetic friend for our baby, and we thank the Earth for that. And we give thanks to the Goddess Divine or feminine energy when we are in the backyard or wherever we are with the placenta before we put it into the dirt. and we know that Earth can take care of it from then on. We just feel like it's better than just putting it in the garbage, since we're not gonna consume it. And don't let folks kiss your newborn on the face. I know that's right, honey. Stay back. Give them some
Don't
space.
let them touch him.
Yeah, give your baby some space. There's cultures that have like legit strict rules, like 40 days, no contact
with the outside world.
With the outside world. It's just
culture too.
Yeah, it's really just building up that aura around mama and baby. And this, of course, the father and siblings, you know, just really just honing in on that energy. So I'm with you there, sis. Fruits and vegetables and water. Oh, spell it. It's Floradix, Floradix. I found it from Whole Foods, and you can also find it from any health food store as well. Would like to bring you into the conversation.
Good.
So I would like for you to just kind of speak about what it's like from your perception, being a man and being a part of the natural pregnancy journey and labor and delivery and catching your babies.
I know, right? Yeah. What's up, y'all? Peace and blessings, everybody. I got here a little bit late, so yeah. But wow. It's really so much, you know, to like be consciously present with your children's birth, you know, because in this culture, obviously we know that fathers aren't in the house as males. We're not in the house, you know, we're just off doing stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? Because male consciousness is not on the planet, as far as on a planetary level, doesn't deal with unity consciousness or being able to feel, you know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of emotional intelligence to catch back up on. So the reason why I say that is that because when you're present with the mother of your child and the whole process, it kind of draws you into a deeper spiritual dimension, you know what I'm saying, about the connectivity of life. So as a father, I feel like first and foremost, that's one of the best ways to actually start to break generational curses, especially because a lot of us are dealing with abandonment issues and things of that nature from having a cracked family structure, you know. And as a people, our societies were based off of, you know what I'm saying, the full family structure, not even just the, whatever they call a nuclear family in America, but the actual connected and relatives and everybody.
Generational family.
The generational family, you know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, as a man, and if there are any fellas listening, you know, I definitely would encourage you to be present during your child's birth and present mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with your woman and anybody that you're in the life of, because remember, it takes a village. So you need to be present emotionally, spiritually, mentally with your child's mother, you know, or whoever has a baby. So I think it was like a somewhat of a rites of passage just to be in on it, because I kind of felt like there's no separation between family when it comes to a man and a woman, but obviously like the relationship between the baby and the mother is everything, because it's the touch, it's the heart. So basically their two hearts beat as one, you know what I'm saying? And as a man, I feel like it's an honor and something that every man should do with their children and with their family if they can, if the wife, the significant other's health doesn't have any complications. You know, it almost feels like you're in a beehive, you know what I'm saying? You're just a guest, but the hive is already established, you know what I'm saying? So my experience with it has been very illuminating. I can say that the experience, like even the actual birth as it was happening, it was on par and actually far beyond experience with like mushrooms or, you know what I'm saying, DMT and stuff like that. Because as the baby's coming like through the ring of fire, and specifically like when I caught well with Neptune, this is the first time I actually like literally felt like a DMT experience. All of them really are, but yeah. So basically, when I caught him, I just felt like a wave of just bliss just hit my body. Like in that moment, like we were so aligned. You know what I'm saying? So spiritually, I think it develops aspects maybe of your inner child and your deepest inner core by being present and watching the cycle of life present itself through the womb. And I think that it's a high honor to be there, to be the first among the family to make contact with the new soul coming in this earth. Because, I mean, as a man and obviously as a woman too, you don't want anybody touching your baby that doesn't deal with the family. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't have that type of connectivity yet, you know, so it should be the family. And just like Queen was saying, there's certain cultures that they have like a 40-day ceremony where they don't let you touch the baby. The baby is up under mama's aura the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a beautiful scenario. You feel me? And it's a beautiful blessing and honor to be there, to be present. You know, yeah, it definitely breaks cycles. Just to reiterate that, that's something that I personally realized. And yeah, it's really hard to put into words. It was a level of volume and depth and power to the whole experience. It was very much like a meditation, you know what I'm saying? So it was very empowering to say the least. But just to add on to, like, throughout the pregnancy, we were working on breath work in tandem with one another, and also we were really into thought building around that particular time, because we know that the baby or the soul's consciousness is very sensitive, for lack of a better word. And your emotional state and her emotional state is going to be ultra sensitive as well, because you're ushering a new life in. So we made it a thing to constantly meditate and repeat certain mantras. We would go together. We would go on walks with each other and, like, you know what I'm saying, hold hands and be so in unison by she take a left step, say one part of the mantra, I take a right step, I say the other part of the mantra, and that's how we just kept it moving like that. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with that and building up this beautiful psychic atmosphere and loving atmosphere, and creating a space for the child to come through really is a form of modification, spiritual modification that we have in our culture. You know what I'm saying? The African mind, the indigenous mind, we do certain stuff like that because we are family oriented. In all actuality, you know what I'm saying? It was beautiful because when you get to be a mother of God, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that figuratively and literally, because we all birth our highest selves in certain moments. You know what I'm saying? You begin to see how you're connected to everything around you. You feel me? So for me to be present and there during the birth, I think is something that we need to really be responsible for, especially as a male, you know what I'm saying? As a man, like, and as a Black man, all these different roles that need to be fulfilled. But I feel like that's a keystone and something that's monumental, you know, in the family structure. To one, be a supporter of natural birth if possible. And like they were saying, it's happening in hospitals right now. So it's really not too much of a problem. Now complications do arise, but you know what I'm saying? You get the point. But it's everything to be present, you know, and setting up the spiritual atmosphere and just making sure that the environment is so serene and peaceful and receptive. You know, that's everything. That's just the metaphysical womb is definitely affected by just even my thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to her womb, and just how I speak to her, because yeah, the sound is everything. This world was created in sound. So even the fetus or even the baby can sense negative vibrations that's happening around it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need to come into this world cracked, in a cracked state, not in a whole state, because we already got a lot of stuff going against us. So this is a way that you can produce Black eugenics on a superior level, you know what I'm saying? And it's just about consciousness. Being conscious means to own oneself more. So you're accountable for your actions. You're accountable for your thoughts around the children, your thoughts around your significant other, your thoughts around society as a whole. You feel me?
I share. I share, babe. I share. And it also brings back to Dr. Emoto's study.
Exactly.
Which is such a powerful study, which is why I always bring it up. But if you haven't heard me talk about it before, basically he did a study to see basically freezing water after it has been received a certain affirmation. The water that was told things like, I hate you, I'll kill you, I don't love you, and stuff like that, was frozen in time in a kind of chaotic visual.
Mm-hmm.
And then the water that was given a lot of love, told that it was beautiful, given attention and nurturance, created like snowflake visuals. There's like a perfect geometric shapes.
Yeah.
It's actually phenomenal that this even occurs. And when we think about our bodies, which is mostly made up of water, and then we think about our babies, which is surrounded in water,
Exactly.
and the amniotic fluid, it lets you know that whatever you as a mother is thinking, or the environment that you as a mother are in, is directly affecting the waters in which your baby is being grown in.
Yeah.
And if it's either the waves is crazy or the waves is tranquil. And our goal as mothers should be to make sure that water is as tranquil and serene as we can possibly make it for them. And it's going to take things like being conscious about how you're interacting with your partner, being conscious about what you're putting in your body, being conscious about your emotional well-being. I would say that if you have something that's been really heavily weighing on your heart, you heal and deal with that prior to pregnancy. If it's I would say like deep conditioning healing, you don't want to do during pregnancy, because it's going to bring up too much
emotions,
suffering and trauma, and so it's not the perfect time to heal. So just like you hear people say, don't detox, don't try to go on a diet when you're pregnant, it's the same thing for your mental and emotional capacity when you're pregnant. The better thing is to just add in, embellish love and happiness and joyfulness, as opposed to trying to eliminate, Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You want to just keep pouring into yourself, and making sure that your environment and your insides is as beautiful as you can possibly be. And, whenever I have my clients, first trimester, we try to get away to deal with any anxiety and fears and doubts surrounding pregnancy, and if there's any situation that the mama might be in, we want to address those as early as possible, so it's not something that she's having to deal with the entire pregnancy. To give this baby a fighting chance to come into this world knowing that it's loved, knowing that there are people who have kindness in their heart and compassion and are dedicated and committed to creating the best environment that they possibly can for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates human beings that want to do that for other people.
Exactly.
That's how we build up the vibration of the planet, by starting with our seeds. So you want to add in?
Yeah, I was going to add in on that too. Another thing, especially being a father and going through the whole birth, the main thing that you can do, especially that I was saying, is obviously like just don't get in the way. You know what I'm saying? You want to make this the least stressful experience for her. You know what I'm saying?
So do the dishes.
So do the dishes, clean up, and do all of that type of stuff. But the key word here is just support. You just want to be support. You know what I'm saying? You just want to make sure that everything is flowing smoothly and there's no issues, because issues on her affect the child and affect everybody. So it's just important to do that. And also I wanted to talk about if there is stress, you know what I'm saying? The whole purpose of this is to basically understand childbirth from a natural perspective and how everything can go smooth and go as naturally planned. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to make sure that the space is still and serene and calm, because even as the baby is coming, its first breath is potent. It's a powerful moment. You know what I'm saying? If you just think about it, how in hospitals, the baby's first breath, they just took the baby from the mother, and the baby's first breath is traumatic, because that's the first thing they're dealing with in this world, is a traumatic experience, no connectivity to the mama. Like in that instant, you know what I'm saying? This stuff happens lightning quick on the consciousness. But imagine if you were to have a baby, and sometimes they have shots or whatever right then and there. They're taken away by the nurse or the doctor, and there's that loss of connectivity at a crucial moment in their consciousness, as opposed to having a natural home birth or just a natural birth in general, where the mother and the father and the family is allowed to touch the baby and be with the baby. First contact, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a very important point too.
I wanted to ask you, Mom.
I was going to say, those are things that you can request for. I suggest that you do a birth plan. So you have it written down, but just know that you should be flexible and not rigid, because things can go, this way or that way. So you have to be open. But work with your birth plan, let your nurse see it, let her know that you want to stick to these things, have her review it. And if you're in labor, and now they only admit you, I think in most hospitals now, at least at 6 centimeters, and probably 5 if you're if you're
high risk,
more than your first baby, if you had more than one baby. But if you're going in when you're in active labor, like I said, you're not smiling anymore, you're pretty serious. You want to have your partner, whoever is with you, your birth partner, talk to the nurse about what you want and what you don't want. You don't want to have to be dealing with that.
Exactly.
Right? So that they take care of that. And so at work, we had a role play about natural childbirth. And of course, my group won. So my colleague who's like, the one I mentioned before, she's from Spain. She had a home birth practice for years. She'd say also, that's the time you want to, and you would find it too in other mammals, that they like to go and be by themselves. They don't want a lot of distractions. So maybe the rest of the crew is there guarding the post, but she's basically by herself giving birth. And then what does she do after? She eats her placenta. They all do. So actually, my friend my colleague I told you from Spain, she said she yummed hers up.
Yummed it.
She was like, I ate it raw. She's like, all of a sudden she got this urge and she started eating it. So it was at the moment. She didn't do it with the first one. And apparently they said eating it raw is the way you have to do it to get any benefits.
Oh, we just know that from eating plants, fruits, and vegetables, and not eating meat and stuff like that, and eating cooked versus raw. Yeah, it's always going to be better raw, whatever it is.
Even if you put it raw, she said, in the blender to make a smoothie. She was like, apparently somebody has been doing some research on it, and he recommends just eating it raw and not blending it up in a smoothie or anything like that, or even encapsulating it. Because it can still be raw that way, but it's actually eating it right there and then.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, I pass.
All right. Well, we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
We talked about pregnancy, labor, birthing at hospitals, and at home.
Yeah, just because you wanted me to talk about how you have a natural birth at the hospital. So basically, you want to just let, any interventions that they want to do, you want to ask them, is this really necessary? Do I really have to do this? And you want them to explain to you the risk and the benefits of doing that procedure. Because a lot of times, and if you don't understand, just say you don't understand. So
that they can explain it.
Again, yes. And even if they have to explain it 10 times to you, that's fine. Maybe they'll get annoyed and don't do what they want to do. But like I said, if you, hopefully you're going in and you're not going to a clinic, so you actually have a private person who will come and do your delivery in the hospital. So if you're in a group, small group practice, something like that, that would be better. I mean, some hospitals have midwives on staff, so that even though you might be in their clinic, somebody would be there to do your delivery if you're low risk. So, but yeah, like I said, you want to make sure that everything that they want to do, if it's, any intervention, medical intervention they want to do, you want to know, is it really necessary?
What are some medical interventions that you feel are mostly unnecessary?
Well, Pitocin is one, oxytocin, fetal monitoring. So if you can get them to do intermittent monitoring, that's fine. So you can be up and walking around.
What about ultrasounds?
breaking your water,
What about ultrasounds?
breaking your water.
Yeah.
You know, so
What about ultrasounds?
Oh, well, of course, everything has a risk. So I tell people now they do so many ultrasounds, and then I wonder why it is that we're testing every baby for hearing problems. There's sound waves, so it must have some type of effect on this developing fetus. So I think the less is better.
Yeah.
So if you have,
you usually say just one,
Yeah.
and around the 20-week mark or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't get any at all. But my mom has always said that she tells her patients to get, if they're going to get any, to get one, do it in that second trimester.
In the second trimester. Yeah. So that way it's if there was something wrong, that you still have time
To what? Prepare.
Right. Of course. To prepare. If not, then everything's good and the baby's not, in that first trimester. Right. So I know there's other tests that they do. But most women are low risk for any of these anomalies that may happen, genetic anomalies. So and then another thing I wanted to say is that, for he kept saying it, you need to be confident that you can do this, right? I tell my patients, I said, elephants give birth alone, and it's way bigger than our babies. So I think we can do this, and you have to know that you can do this. And we've been doing it for millenniums.
Since time began.
Yes, exactly. And it's not so painful for everyone. Everybody's experience is different, So it can be short and very painful, and it can be long, and it depends on also, of course, your pain tolerance. But don't look at it as pain. It's the only thing that happens, that this pain brings about something happy in the end. If you focus more on the ends and forget about the means to the end, you're setting yourself up for success. So and also labor isn't as long as we think it is in itself. So usually now they're thinking about 8 hours for normal delivery, and for Black women, of course, we do so much better. The only thing that for us is that a lot of women will have back pain, and they'll have babies in that posterior position. So if you're having back pain in early labor, you want to do your all your exercises to try to rotate that baby while you're in labor. So it's being on all fours, getting all the pressure off your back. I even like laying on your belly. I'll put women in that position, and they automatically flip and deliver in no time, and be pushing for hours. So yeah, that works. So once the baby rotates, it will be, and that's when you want to run to the hospital. Because once she rotates, the back pain will ease, and he will be able to deliver quite quickly. Because we do really well in terms of, like I said, labor and childbirth itself. Have better perineum outcomes. Yeah, so all in all, our babies do much better. And the reason why we're so low on all these other birth rates, of course, because the majority of us don't eat well. So you can't expect to go to McDonald's and then have a good pregnancy and a good outcome and healthy babies.
That's true.
Plus, with the amount of stress that we go through as Black people in this country. So taking all of that into consideration, we want to do, with the little that we have, which you may have, that you choose the best foods. So because a pack of dried beans is much cheaper than a can of beans.
That's true.
And it'll last you longer.
That's true.
So anyhow, and never worry about money. I have to tell you this too. So I tell everyone, whenever you need it, it will come. So if you're in your pregnancy and oh my God, how am I going to do? Don't worry about it.
And there's so many programs that can help you. There's so many things. You find little free pregnancy centers. I know that I've gotten some free baby clothes, some free advice, some childbirthing classes. This is for my first one. I was in all of these things, so I could be prepared. You know,
exactly. So you become an expert.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for anybody that does do a home birth, if your baby does happen to be breached, just in case you're watching this and this happens to you, my first in the series was breached. She came out foot first. My recommendation for birthing when you have a breached baby is to birth on all fours.
So just flip
right over, and they come right on out. And also you don't want to push. You don't want to push. You just want it to naturally let your uterus just contract down, and they will come out. Okay. At the hospital, most of the time they give you C-sections if your baby is breached, if you come to them in labor that way. So you may have a harder time trying to get them to let you birth naturally. But if you're at home and that happens to you, I had success in birthing the series, no complications on all fours, with her foot coming out first. If there's any other questions, please put them in the comments. I'm loving all the feedback. It's been real. Is there anything that you guys want to say? Is there anything that we didn't cover that we were supposed to cover? Hey, Auntie.
No, but I hope we answered a lot of your questions and you feel more confident now.
Yes. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I just would like to leave it off. If you are pregnant or you're about to get pregnant, I'm sending you so many high vibrations and lots of love and light. And my DM is always open. You can hit me up if you got any questions or want some tips or anything on how to have a healthy and beautiful and divine pregnancy, labor and delivery. I'm a gal. I got your back, sister. We in this together. I love you all, and thank you for your time. Your time is precious, and it is so much appreciated. I hope that you all have a blissful night. You're going to do your namaste.
Namaste.
Peace.
Peace and light, everyone.